All right, hello everybody. We're going to talk about something that matters to me specifically, why modern games keep failing. Now, this might get a little controversial. We're going to talk about good old Asmongold here. We're going to talk about some Twitter posts, Bethesda and ZeniMax layoffs, their little protests here with hundreds of people, as well as Ubisoft's sell of their main IPOs, their main games, essentially, right? Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six to Tencent, right? We're going to talk about all that. So, are modern games failing? The reality is, yes, they are. You could see it with Concord, Suicide Squad, Dragon Age the Veilguard. You could see it with Assassin's Creed, Shadows, Star Wars Outlaws, Highguard, Dustborn, Avowed, Redfall, Life is Strange, and the list goes on. Why do they fail? Generally, because they're just not very good. They promote an ideology, they are sometimes cinematic, but they're not really fun to play as gamers want to play games, right? They have weak gameplay, they're pandering over quality, they're alienating their core audience, they have bad execution with bland gameplay, bugs, generic designs. Additionally, there's no single one reason. There's no common thread that has one political issue, right? It's just many players don't simply find these games to justify their time and money. They don't want to play them. And reality is, I don't either. I liked Counter-Strike 1.6, or I played it. I played Condition Zero. I've played Generals Zero Hour. I've played Generals Red Alert. I've played all of the games you could imagine. League of Legends, my favorite, right? But I've played everything from Palworld to StarCraft to any game you can mention. Megabonk, right? I've played it all. The reality is you don't want to play a game that you are not interested in. And if you're creating a game that gamers aren't interested in, they're not going to buy your games, which is going to lead to layoffs, which is going to lead to a very sad situation for everyone where gamers aren't getting a good game and people are getting laid off and losing their jobs, right? So, what are good games? Expedition 33, Black Myth Wukong, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Baldur's Gate, Palworld, Megabonk, Balatro, Vampire Survivors, Hades, Repo was a great game, Schedule 1, of course, Pragmata, very great game. All of those are very great games. Now, we're going to try to distinguish why modern games fail and why some other games that are coming out these days aren't failing, right? Games and passion. It just doesn't seem like some people are making these games out of passion, out of enjoyment. Back in the day with small developers and not that much money in the industry, people made games they genuinely wanted to play. League of Legends was initially created because friends wanted to play together against each other, right? Halo, created by people who wanted to play Halo. Generals, created by people who wanted to play a strategy game. Same with StarCraft. People wanted to play these games, and right now you're not really seeing much passion. It seems like the fun has been taken out of the game. They care more about player engagement metrics, battle passes, long-term recurring revenues, and none of those things that are listed on there are technically bad, but they don't make a good game. And bigger does not necessarily mean better. Nobody wanted to play Shadows and do the same quest line 500 times. No one wants to play these games because just because they're big doesn't mean they're good, right? And big AAA game companies, they're scared to do something fun. They just want to stick to the same system, the same ideas, because they hope that it's going to make them enough money to not go at a loss. And recently, that's not been working so well. There's some critics that argue that Hollywood has been plaguing or diseasing the gaming industry. A lot of critics claim that failed writers, failed actors, failed producers are going into the gaming industry. You know, people that don't generally like games, but they couldn't make it there, so now they're here. People talk about Mixtape. It got 10 out of 10 by critics, but the gamers didn't like the game because it wasn't really a game that people could enjoy. Studios increasingly recruit writers, directors, and producers from television and film, but this isn't necessarily making the game good. Gamers are seeing long cutscenes, constant dialogue, scripted sequences, and they feel like they lack personal freedom in the games. There's nothing wrong with storytelling. Expedition 33 and Pragmata did a great job with that. You love the game. It's a great story. But other games, you don't want to play them, and you don't want to just watch a movie. You want to actually play the game, right? Now, I'm going to talk about Gamergate, but we're going to try to avoid the harassment areas of it. I'm just going to talk about how the trust between gamers and gaming journalists kind of collapsed. Many gamers felt that outlets were reviewing games for a broad cultural lens rather than gameplay and whether the game's actually good or not. A lot of journalists and gaming journalists have been getting exodused into nowhere land, right? They're being removed. A lot of these gaming article companies have been losing a lot of employees and laying off people because people aren't listening to them anymore because gamers have lost trust with journalists. Doesn't mean critics are wrong, doesn't mean players are wrong. It just shows that maybe they value two different things. There is a hiring debate here. It's kind of controversial, so I'm going to just touch on it, with my little tippy toes, tippy fingers. But critics argue that certain studios have a greater emphasis on diversity initiatives and broader cultural goals rather than technical expertise and familiarity with games. Supporters against those critics, right? They say that diversity brings fresh ideas and it reflects a more global audience. Both perspectives could be right. Diversity is neither good or bad. The real question is, are they hiring people that actually love games and don't hate gamers, right? That's the main question. Developers and players have been having a really bad relationship with each other too. And we're talking about Concord, Veilguard, Highguard, and even Battlefield is in this discussion because they said, don't buy it if you don't want to play it, right? It's not really a great relationship to have with your audience. And a lot of the downfalls of these companies or their games, they're quick to blame the developers, are quick to blame the toxic communities, online discourse, or content creators, instead of asking themselves, did players want this game? Now, online harassment's real. Not going to say it's not. Review bombing exists. Outrage content does drive clicks. But astroturfing is also real. One thing to note is a YouTuber, for example, good old Asmongold here, he's not going to make someone not play a game. He's a megaphone. If a game's bad, the game is going to be known bad more. If a game's good, it's going to be known to gamers more. And that goes with critics too. Just because a critic gives a game a 9 out of 10 doesn't mean I'm going to go buy it. Doesn't mean you're going to go buy it. Sometimes I almost distrust the critics more than I do anything else because they vote some games as 10 out of 10s and they're just not a game. So social media, YouTubers, and critics don't make a game. The game makes the game. The developers make the game, and players will decide with their wallets whether the game is good. We've touched on failed games already, and the last thing to touch on is gaming is not dying. Gamers are here. They are ready. They are ready to play good games, and it's shown with Palworld. It's shown with Schedule 1, with Clair Obscur, Expedition 33. It's shown with Pragmata. It's shown with Wukong. It's just some of the developers right now are not making good games. The formula hasn't changed. It never changed. They just need to build something fun and respect the players. So let the game speak for itself. And maybe this is a giant lesson for the AAA industry. Maybe they need to remember it. What we're going to talk about here is there was another ad. There was a layoff that occurred with Bethesda and their other company, ZeniMax Media. A lot of people are criticizing the layoff, saying that it wasn't needed. Protests are happening over it. But on the other side of the aisle, you have, good old Asmongold and Hero Hey here arguing that players deserve better. The reason these people are getting fired isn't because people hate them, it's because they're not making good games. And that's just for you guys to discuss and decide for yourselves. But that's all I got today. That's all I'm going to discuss today. Personally, my opinion, I play the games I want, decide what you want to play, and eventually the market will correct itself if you don't think that AAA studios are doing the right thing. Just vote with your wallet. That's what I'm doing. And enjoy yourself. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or think that I sat on a fence too much, let me know in the comments. I absolutely did. And I'm going to keep sitting on a fence until one day when things change. But right now, it's a good fence. It's my fence. So I'll talk to you guys later. Goodbye.